All right, friends, we are back. It's your favorite podcast of the week. This is Location Weekly, and we are recording episode number 720 live from Lake Como. As you can see, I'm sitting here with my good friend and business partner, Karsten. Good to be here. Great to see you again in person and to be in Italy. Yeah. How are you?
Yeah, first, I love our annual board meeting here very much. So it's a mixture between work, get adjusted for the second half of the year with our upcoming event in Toronto, where we position the LBMA and Toronto, Canada as a hub for North America. It's Momentum Summit, 10th and 11th November 10th and 11th as a conference. And then before we will have a delegation tour, visit local businesses, see how you can gain business in North America, what to do, also lots of partnerships we were working on. So it's good to be here, but also it's a lot of good food, good people, good friends. So yeah, good to have that. But this is a regular episode, so we don't want to talk too much about how is it going. It's more about the content side of the story. So what do you have prepared?
Yeah, so we have 4 stories, as usual, that we want to cover. A range of things across the globe that we're going to talk about today. I do want to say one thing about the conference in November, though. It's a very special for me personally because, I started the LBMA exactly 15 years ago in November. And in Toronto, and we had our first meeting at the Drake Hotel. We had about 120 or 30 people that showed up for this to understand what is this thing called location-based marketing. And from there, 15 years later, here we are today, 720 episodes of the podcast and chapters all over the world and members of the organization. So we are excited to kind of bring everybody back together again in this big 15-year anniversary celebration in Toronto where it all started. So, put November 10th, 11th on your calendar. We hope to see you there and reach out to us if you want to be involved in that. So let's talk about the stories. You have the first story today, a German company, so I'll hand it to you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, a German startup brings lean AI-driven digital out-of-home models to North America. So company is called Framen. Framen, yeah, whatever. And so they managed to get 700 screens across co-working spaces in North America, Canada and US, and a similar number of them also in Europe. So they claim themselves as a unique player in the digital out-of-home space, while they not only just install the screens and own them themselves, they also use existing screens with their CMS system to make things happening, and this all AI driven. So the key role here as a startup was acquired by Axel Springer a couple of years ago. So it's one of the European biggest media groups. So that helps a lot. And including also businesses like publications like Insider and Politico, and the US Framen has also begun working with social media content. So I think it's a good thing to see this AI-driven digital out-of-home possibilities. I think a lot of them, the key functionality will be made in the CMS to adjust the right formats and the right target audiences and things like that. Seeing that more and more from a traditional digital out-of-home, we just try to do campaign planning like it was before. I think it's a huge step. So what do you think about that?
Yeah, for me, it's kind of almost like going back in time because so much of the out-of-home industry discussion these days has been on these retail media networks everywhere, like stores building them, malls building them, everybody kind of building these retail media networks and then thinking about, sort of the measurement and, programmatic monetization of that and all of these things. And here you have a startup that's kind of going after, the spaces that, we used to go after in the early days. So like, local gyms and chains of, gyms and co-working spaces like WeWork and, other places where people are gathering and trying to provide a service to those, venue owner and operators to say, okay, hey, we are here. We're using AI to make this automated scheduling, dynamic pricing, revenue sharing models that obviously is appealing to them. And it's not something that they're going to go themselves and say, okay, we're going to go build a retail media network in our gym. I don't see that happening. But, somebody like Framen coming and doing that, I think makes a lot of sense. And just to call it out to them because, from an LBMA perspective, that as we just talked about with the conference, being so global and, positioning Toronto as a sort of place to, look at market entry into North America, or grow a business in North America, especially for European or Asian companies. We are here to support companies like Framen to do that. So if you're listening, guys, reach out to us. We'd be happy to have a conversation about that. Karsten is in Berlin all the time. So.
Yeah, and also I think highlighting just reaching this target audiences. So traditional out-of-home media networks will not address co-working spaces, will not address gyms, things like that, where you find younger people, and for themselves it's very hard to operate a own network or make also the screens working for their own purposes, because there are limited amount of people working there, and so helping them is, I think, a win-win for both of them. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Good. Happy to help.
All right, on to our second story now. So we talk about a company, another startup. It's called Drive Stories. This is a AI-powered location travel app that they've launched on Kickstarter. So again, we don't talk about Kickstarter very often on the show.
You lost all money?
Yeah. So encouraging, I guess, to see that they're still around and that people are trying to build. Products and companies using crowdfunding models in the first off. I guess I'm going to say I'm less excited about this story because I didn't see anything really new about it. So what they've built is a location-based audio storytelling app. So think, you're traveling, you're walking around, you have this app on your phone, you come to, like I'm here in Italy, we're at a beautiful church in the top of the mountains right now, and, I can envision an app like this, giving me an audio, story like a, tour guide of what is the history of this church and when was it built and who is coming here, and information that is interesting and valuable. But I think growing a business in this space, at this time, it's difficult because you have platforms like Detour, you have Google and others, GPS My City and other platforms that are already doing things like this. It's not hard to curate this information, and I know they're using, obviously some AI to do that. I think where there is an opportunity is maybe for the local tourism authorities and boards and so on to figure out, how they want to get their stories told. And maybe a platform like this is helpful, but there are many others. So I think it's difficult to differentiate themselves in this market. I think the bigger players, it's very easy to add audio storytelling to their existing platforms. So for me, I go back to when Rob Woodbridge and I started this podcast many, many years ago. And Rob used to always say, like when we talked about, apps or startups like this, because back in the day, we used to feature a new app every week. And one of the things that Rob and I always talked about is this a real business, or is this just a feature in somebody else's app? Is there something unique here? So, there's value in audio storytelling in a location-based sense. 100% guarantee. I agree with that. Can you build a business on this? And doing it on Kickstarter, I don't know. I struggle with that. So, your thoughts?
No, absolutely. Just seeing into our new friends, the AI, and if you look at more advanced models like GenSpark and things like that, they already built in travel functions, so this guiding function. So if you want to plan a trip, you just throw, okay, we're here now at Lake Como at this church, and just give me all the highlights and make an audiobook out of them. And then they make an audiobook on site. It takes them 3 minutes. So I'm not sure if this is going to be last long. If this vertical will work. I see the conversational AI will help here a lot to just solve this kind of use case, which we have. So we're here, we want to learn something, we want to see something, and if we get used to it, just not ask Google and rely on information which is made available or not, more like a guided scenario. So that makes sense to me. Even so, Kickstarter itself was like, I'm not really sure if this would work too, but let's find out. Yeah. Coming to our next story. So it's about delivering, but not delivering information. It's about delivering food. Our friends from Deliveroo are up in Ireland, Dublin. They launched a drone service. So within a radius of 3 kilometers, you can now order your food by the app, and it will be delivered by a drone. 150,000 households or people will be addressed by this service. Within 3 minutes, the drone flies over your house and hovers over your house and then delivers your food to you in the garden, balcony, whatever. Let's see how this works. But it's a fantastic opportunity to see drones in a real life scenario with a real option you may have with that. And also, yeah, drones are coming. All these rules and regulations seems to, adjust to the new technology. So the reliability of the drones from now is totally different from what we had years ago. And remembering we're running this innovation center down at the biggest outlet center in Europe for the LVMH for 4 years. And we had a company with us. They were producing the first versions of drones. And it was unimaginable 10 years ago, 8 years ago, that a drone is just flying somewhere and delivers something, because all the rules and regulation will say, no, this is not gonna work. So they do it up in Ireland. So if you are in Ireland or in Dublin, so please test that for us and find out how it works. And what about your thoughts about it?
Yeah, I mean, reaching 150,000 people,
it's a market size.
It's a good market size, especially to trial something like this. I think if you can actually deliver, like I'm ordering fast food or what have you, and I'm doing that in 3 minutes, like that's crazy to me. Like I think, as a consumer, I can see big value in that. There's also a novelty to, I got my food delivered by drone, so that's kind of interesting, and I think people are intrigued by that still, because it's not so common that we're seeing that yet, right? I mean, maybe in university campuses and other things, they've been doing some testing, for some time now with Wing and others, but. I think fast food delivery at this kind of speed to this kind of community, I think there's potentially big value, and I could see it expanding quickly to other markets. So, yeah,
great. Set.
Okay. All right, on to our final story now. So we're going to talk about Champs, the shoe sporting goods retailer. They're a division of Foot Locker. And so they have been working and piloting for the last number of months now in the Seattle and Portland, Oregon areas in a couple of their stores. For several months, they've been testing technology. And this is technology that is really focused on kind of unifying the experience between the e-commerce and digital web platforms that they have with the in-store physical shopping experience. And they want it to be consistent across the board, where what you see on the, when you're at home on the computer and looking at their website is the same as what you see on the mobile app, and the same as what you see on the kiosks and screens in the stores. And so there's consistency throughout, and the experience that you have is also kind of all similar, right? So in the stores, for example, they have 3D scanning technology to scan your feet and give you very accurate shoe sizing. Obviously, online they have technology also that's doing similar kinds of things on the e-commerce side. So they're trying to create the same experiences, both physical and digital, in one place. They also have, technology that they've built in the stores for the associates to be able to help you, quicker and with better customer service using AI technology to, do predictive answers to the questions that you might have. They have, obviously, connectivity they're building as well into their loyalty platforms. So they know you and they know what your preferences are and what you're shopping, and they can then use that information, and the AI can ingest that information to then come back with things that obviously you're interested in. And then while you're in the store, you can do your ordering through tablet and kiosk displays. You can find the right sizes. They can have them shipped to your house, so you don't have to carry anything with you. So all of this kind of stuff, is coming together, and they've really, really focused on this kind of, just blending the experience to be exactly the same, no matter which, platform you're coming from. So, and they're not the only ones doing this. Obviously, there are many other retailers trying to get there, but I think it's good that they've taken the time to say, okay, let's take these two stores, let's really focus for many months on, showing that we can, blend this experience and make it powerful together. and then now looking to roll that out to their other stores across their network. And I think you'll see that from competitors, from Nike stores and Adidas stores and everybody else as well, even though they sell those products in their stores.
Absolutely. So what we can see here is also that it's maybe the end of the traditional website and the end of a silo of communication. It's coming all together, and it's about the experience, and it's about the purpose, and it's not about the media channels. So bringing all these channels together. We were talking about omni-channel strategies and things like that. It was all related on the capabilities of the devices. So the smartphone wasn't able to show the same things what the website could show, those kind of things. They were not connected to the same systems, the older days. Now everything is connected, and we see, and I will predict something like, okay, the end of the traditional website, because what we will have is more conversational internet in the future, which is for your needs. If you're running a brand, for example, we say, okay, I want to promote my products because I want to sell the products. This is how I make money, and my brand value around it. So I have to provide this basic information about what is the product, what's the product for, and then it will appear in different scenarios. And one could be your store, could be your website, could be your overall experience. But it's not longer go on www/whatever and type it in and then search for it and find it out and adjusting to the circumstances. It's more like, okay, you need new shoes, my friend. And there are various ways to sell the shoes to you. And this will be either also our new friend AI driven. So a lot of those systems, as I mentioned before, are travel, but also retail. So you not longer go to Google. You ask your AI agent because he knows you. So he knows the size and all these biometrics and things like that. And then he has to pick out of the options he find, the right product for you. Now there's a big point. So most of our online shops and also mobile applications, location services are not having this information right now available. So they are blocking robots. So the robot TXT, for example, on your website, which allows to crawl your website, mostly blocks a lot of robots, but the AI is using this kind of tools. So be aware of that your website is also to be found on the AI side of the story to open it. But yes, great initiative, shows the capabilities of our technology.
Yeah, I think the last point you made is really good, to make sure that it can be found by the AI, because it's kind of the new... we used to have to optimize for search results, right, on Google, and
it's all gone,
and that's all gone. But now we have to optimize for, can the AI bots, find, us in the way that we need them to find us, with the information that we want them to find about us, right? And I think the other thing too with the Champ story is like the one thing I applaud, because I know it's something that I've seen, it's frustrated a lot of consumers over the years, is the real-time inventory data of what they actually have in the store or in the warehouse, connecting that up to the e-commerce experiences, to the physical shopping experiences, all seamless, because there's nothing worse than, I found the product that I want and you don't have it, and you told me you had it. And it's terrible, right? And so if so having the inventory data tied to that is great. So that's our 4 stories for this week. One last thing, maybe I just asked Karsten. We didn't prepare anything, but we've been here for a few days. We're in Italy. You had a big drive yesterday from Berlin, but is there kind of one new app or some sort of location-based experience, digital thing outside of AI itself, or GenSpark or something like that, where you think it's something really great that you're excited about?
So actually, it's about transportation. It's about public transportation, and being here in the mountains means there are challenges. So challenges in infrastructure, size of streets, limitations, and parking spots, those kind of things. And car sharing is also coming to North Italy. It's not new, but the way they're doing here now, infrastructure, full EV driven, and the way they communicate their application also to locals and to tourists opens a totally new level of public transportation, because you now can grab a car here and bring it down to Bergamo to the airport and just let it there. It's not just like you had to bring it back like in a normal car sharing option. So it's like this drive now, but also now for small regions. And this is, I think, is a very cool invention. EY is the company who's running the business here in the Lombardia, so Milan, northern part of it. And it's really cool to see how digitalization through this, if we have no charging stations and we can use them and but they're limited. You cannot put a charging station everywhere because the streets are too small. It's just like it's limited in space. So, yes. And coming up with the idea. So this is for me something really, love to see that, and a good thing. Try it out.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for listening and watching. This has, again, been episode number 720 of Location Weekly. We appreciate your time. If you have story ideas, reach out to us. If you are one of the companies we've talked about today, we would love to talk to you more and learn more about that and how you can get involved in the LBMA organization, or join us for the Momentum Conference in Toronto in November. Until then, we'll see you next week with another show. Take care, everyone. Bye. Ciao.